You know there's a lot of young men in this house even before you go inside.
Hello. John Brian Fish.
But the place is still full of surprising stories about their lives before leaving the Amish.
First time I drove horse and buggy by myself,
Yeah.
I was going down the wrong side of the road.
You went the wrong side of the road?
Brothers Ben and Eli have been living in the outside English world for more than a year now.
This is how I looked when I was Amish, I guess.
That's how you looked.
Yup. Like I said, I had a lot longer hair.
Who made the shirt?
My mom.
Your mom made the shirt
Yep.
and the vest, all that?
Yeah, she made everything.
All the clothes. Why do you keep these clothes?
Just keep them. Some, like when I went back to my sister's wedding, I wore them.
Though Eli's family has allowed him to return for big family events, it's more common for these former Amish teens to feel unwelcome in their parents' homes.
Right now we're going out Amish country. We'll see where my parents live and some of my friends' stuff.
Harley, for example, homesick and looking for work, returned briefly this year to his local community just to be near his family.
I go past home a lot on my way to work. Like I see the little ones out and around, but very seldom speak to them.
Even so, Harley managed to sneak home a couple of times.
My one little brother, he was about a year old when I left. And every time I come home, when I walk in the door, he runs up yelling my name. You gonna stay home this time? Gotta tell him no.
And eventually, the little guy forgot who Harley was.
He didn't really recognize you?
Not really. So I went upstairs, put on an Amish shirt and a straw hat. I came back downstairs, I opened the door, he looked at me and said my name and came running.
This is a picture of Harley on the day he left his family.
Do you think of yourself as Amish?
No, I mean, that's water under the bridge for me.
It is.
In their most honest moments, the boys living in this house will tell you that in addition to their bouts of loneliness, there's anger. Anger at having to choose between freedom and their families. And it's a short step from anger to trouble.
Then he gave.
In a matter of weeks, early last summer, the Amish here in Ashland County suddenly became targets in a rash of vandalism.
Throwing beer cans at Amish buggies and throwing trash.
Captain Carl Reichert and Deputy Cindy Benner were called in on more than a dozen incidents against the Amish.
Rocks through the windows.
Rocks through the windows?
During church services.
Around that same time, our cameras began capturing a side of Danny we had not seen before.
We're going out past the Amish and we're going to jam them out.
Instead of stopping to talk to the Amish, he's aggressive and taunts them with loud music.
They think I'm in a different world than they are.
It seems an invisible wall now separates Danny from his old life.
They think if I would die, I can't go to heaven. I mean, I might not go to heaven, but not every Amish is going to heaven either.
In midsummer, another more serious act of vandalism strikes the Amish community. Someone sets an Amish buggy on fire.
They started a buggy on fire. What's next? A house? You know, or the barn?
The deputies don't wait to find out. The violence shows a clear pattern.
So whoever was involved in the first incident was also involved in the buggy burning?
Correct.
Who was that?
Danny Troyer.
When our cameras were not around, Danny Troyer was apparently at the center of these anti-Amish incidents.
All right, we are on the Danny Troyer case.
In January, Danny is brought into court on 3 separate charges: criminal damage, criminal trespassing, and criminal mischief. Joe Kime, the minister who helped Danny after he ran away from his family, is outside the courtroom.
You know, at first when they leave, they experience all this freedom and they really don't know how to live within freedom. And then they find out that the rules out here, you break them out here and it's a lot worse than it is at home.
Mr. Troyer, before we go any further, I have to make sure you're doing this voluntarily, and I have to make sure you know all the rights that you're giving up by pleading no contest.
While Danny admits that he was involved in the buggy burning, He and his lawyer contend another young man actually lit the fire.
Something, yeah, maybe. But did he think he's going to burn a buggy? Absolutely not.
Mr. Troyer, I want to have a little discussion with you. You're a former member of the Amish faith, is that right? Just what's going on here? What are you guys up to?
We were just driving around and having fun.
Danny's answers don't move the judge. He sentences him to jail.
You will be serving 30 days. I don't want any activity that constitutes harassment of the Amish in this community. You understand that?
Yeah.
When we return, a jailhouse interview with Danny. And Lena, Harley, and Nelson making their decisions to stay or leave the Amish. We'll be right back.